Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we will look into everything about Sorcerer in Diablo 4. In Korean Diablo scene, Sorcerer also goes by the name of Daughter of Blizzard because the character is so beloved by her developers. As we all saw in open beta, Sorcerer was distinctively powerful and it seems like it will be the first choice of the most players. So in this video, we will tap into Sorcerer's unique class mechanic, skills, legendary aspects, unique items revealed so far, and the Paragon Board. And there will be of course separate videos about specific builds, so please subscribe if you're interested. Also, please note that information gathered in this video is based on Binu's open beta experience and it can be changed in the official release. All classes in Diablo 4 have their own unique mechanics. Sorcerer's is called the Enchantment System. Just below 6 skill slots, you can see that Sorcerer has 2 additional enchantment slots. When skills are assigned here, those skills will work as passives with totally different mechanisms. For instance, Meteor in a regular skill slot would work as an active skill that summons a meteor. However, when Meteor is assigned in an enchantment slot, it will drop a meteor to enemies with a 3% chance. In case of Hydra, it summons 3-headed Hydra as an active skill. However, as an enchantment skill, it summons 5-headed Hydra after spending 300 mana. To put it simply, Sorcerer gets 2 more skill slots than other classes. Certain skills are noticeably powerful when used in enchantment slots, and we will mention which are those in the following skill section. For a Sorcerer, there are totally 7 skill clusters. Basic cluster, core cluster, 3 unique clusters, ultimate cluster, and key passives. Basic skills are mostly used to recover mana or to inflict ailments to the enemy, and they cannot deal a great amount of damage. Thus, it is very important to select the right basic skill that suits your build. Many people will probably try to match skill elements out of their old habits from the previous series. However, during the early leveling stage, what we need to focus instead is the performance of the basic skill itself. There are totally 4 basic skills. Read the descriptions carefully and do some testing to see which skill would work the best for your build. Frostbolt throws a bolt of frost at an enemy, dealing damage and chilling a chance. When upgraded to Flickering Frostbolt, it can make frozen enemies vulnerable. Spark launches a lightning bolt that shocks an enemy 4 times. When upgraded to Flickering Spark, crackling energies are dropped at chance of hit. There are builds that utilize crackling energy mainly if you're interested. Firebolt throws a damaging flaming bolt and burns an enemy for over 8 seconds. When enhanced, it can pierce through burning enemies or gain more mana. Arclash flicks a lightning whip that deals enemies. When upgraded to Glinting Arclash, cooldown is reduced so it can be used with other skills that have cooldown like Blizzard or Meteor. Core skills cost mana and deal high damage. Most builds are designed based on a core skill. If you happen to pick up a legendary item that enhances a certain core skill, changing the build setting based on that core skill is definitely recommended. That is how much core skills are powerful and they are highly affected by matching legendary items. Incinerate channels a beam of fire and damages enemies per second. Its enchantment effect is summoning a snake that uses Incinerate every 20 seconds. If you're planning to use Incinerate as your main skill, using it as an enchantment can increase your single target dealing. Fireball throws a ball of fire and deals nearby enemies. When Fireball is assigned an enchantment slot, killed enemy explodes and damage nearby other enemies. This is absolutely helpful for clearing loose mobs and it is highly recommended. Even if Fireball is not your main skill, assigning it in an enchantment slot with rank 1 is useful enough. Frozen Orb is same as in Diablo 2 but with less area of effect. Enhanced Frozen Orb's damage is increased by 30% when cast above 50 mana, and it makes a great synergy with Elemental Dominance. You can give a lot of damage with this combination. Ice Shards have a great single target damage, but AoE is much satisfying. When used with a legendary aspect that adds piercing effect to Ice Shards, AoE can be improved then. Chain Lightning unleashes a stream of lightning that chains between enemies up to 5 times. When upgraded to Greater Chain Lightning, damage is 25% increased after bounding off you. Even if the skill is nerfed recently, it is still powerful, especially during leveling stage. You can gain a Legendary Aspect on Chain Lightning in Act 1 too. After the latest patch, Charged Bolts became the most powerful skill without any Legendary Aspects. When upgraded to Destructive Charged Bolts, the skill reduces enemy damage, which is a big boost to survival. And these are passive skills available in the core cluster. Defensive skills do not cost mana, but instead they have cooldowns. Flame Shield actually doesn't reduce damage taken. Instead, Flame Shield damage enemies around you. And with upgrades, it can increase movement speed or heal life. Teleport is Sorcerer's only movement skill and also a movement skill with the largest AoE in Diablo 4. When it's upgraded to Shimmering Teleport, you can gain 30% damage reduction. It is used in almost every build. Ice Armor is another skill that was used in almost every build during the beta period. It absorbs 30% of your base life and increases mana regen as well. When upgraded to Mystical Ice Armor, your damage against vulnerable enemies is converted to the barrier, so it has a potential for the later part of the season. Frost Nova explodes a frost and freezes enemies around you. When upgraded to Mystical Frost Nova, it makes enemies vulnerable. And there are two passives available in the defensive cluster. Conjuration skills can be used with other skills at the same time to give additional dealing. Duration time is short, and summoned entities cannot be adjusted, so you need to locate them properly for maximum effect. Hydra summons Three-Headed Hydra. It can be a great supporting skill when used with a Legendary Aspect that summons one more Hydra. However, it was nerfed quite a lot and it is not clear at this stage if it would be good enough to be a main skill. Ice Blade summons a pair of Ice Blades that damage enemies and make enemies vulnerable at 30% chance. When it's upgraded to Summoned Ice Blades, Enhanced Ice Blades cooldown reduction is applied to other skills, which is pretty helpful to other ultimate skills or defensive skills. Lightning Spear conjures a lightning spear that seeks enemies for 6 seconds. This skill has a potential for after leveling stage because damage can be increased up to twice by collecting crackling energy, and spear can be doubled by a legendary aspect. However, it wasn't strong enough to use during early leveling. And these are passives available in the Conjuration cluster. Mastery skills deal multiple enemies and they cost mana like core skills. You can use mastery skills instead of core skills or can use all together. Blizzard is the skill that's quite familiar to many people. Damage is pretty good and it deals over time, so it can be used with core skills at the same time. When it's upgraded to Wizard's Blizzard, it reduces mana cost of core skills. You can also use it as an enchantment to create an automatic blizzard that follows you around every 15 seconds for 6 seconds. Meteor summons meteorites to deal and burn the ground. Meteor's enchantment effect is falling a meteor with a chance. However, this skill is not good for leveling as it's not easy to increase the lucky hit chance early on. Firewall does not deal a lot of damage on its own, but it greatly increases the amount of combustion damage enemies inside take, so it is a must-have for combustion builds. There is a legendary aspect for this skill, so it was one of the popular choices during the beta period. Ball Lightning slowly shoots a ball of lightning, and this skill has a high hit count, so it can draw many crackling energies when used with Static Discharge passive, a must-have for crackling energy builds. And these are passives available in the Mastery cluster. Ultimate skills have long cooldowns, but they are very powerful. You can choose only one ultimate skill. Deep Freeze surrounds yourself with ice, makes you immune, and constantly deals nearby enemies. This was the most powerful ultimate skill during the open beta because when it's upgraded, it reduces non-ultimate cooldowns by 50%. Inferno summons a tornado of fiery snake around you, dealing great damage. When it's upgraded, pyromancy skills cost no mana while Inferno is active. So if you play fire builds, you can be a nuker with this skill. Unstable Current randomly casts other lightning skills when you cast a shock skill. When it's upgraded, both attack speed and utilization of crackling energy are increased a lot. This is one of the few fun ultimates in Diablo 4, as most ultimate skills are quite plain. And these are passives available in an ultimate cluster. Key passives provide you a powerful effect that affects your overall build and playstyle. It's like the ultimate skills in passive version. Like ultimate skills, you can choose only one key passive. There are totally 6 key passives you can choose from. Legendary Aspect is a special option that can be attached to an item. Some of these options can be obtained 100% after clearing a dungeon, and they can be stored in the Codex of Power. Aspects in Codex of Power can be taken out at any time for use. It would help you a lot if you have a general idea of which aspects can be obtained and where before playing Sorcerer. Unfortunately, legendary aspects stored in Codex of Power are relatively weak because they are guaranteed. So inevitably, you will have to farm legendary items later on for better performance. We will refer to them as key legendary aspects. Note that every aspect has a designated gear slot based on its category. Let's begin with offensive aspects. If you have enough chance to freeze, you can use Aspect of Biting Cold and remove other options that cause vulnerable. Aspect of Piercing Cold perfectly compensates for the shortcomings of Ice Shards. It's a pretty powerful aspect in the early stage, which you can get it in Act 1. Aspect of Static Cling could be a cheating aspect if you can get an unique item that makes charged bolts pierce, but it might be tricky to utilize early on. Elementalist aspect looks really powerful once you get some mana, so you might want to make a beeline towards it after getting enough mana from the Paragon Board. Moving on to defensive aspects. Besides Snowguard's aspect, none of others really stand out yet. Resource aspect is also popular because resource managing could be tricky during leveling. Prodigy's aspect restores mana when using a cooldown, so you'll want to get it as soon as possible. Recharging aspect can be gained from Fractured Peaks and it gives you a ton of gameplay speed. This is one aspect that makes Sorcerer so powerful early on. There is one utility aspect for Sorcerer in Codex of Power. If you play a speedrun, mobility aspects are must-haves. Unlike previous aspects that can be saved in Codex of Power, key legendary aspects are not guaranteed. Instead, they tend to be more powerful. These key aspects were particularly powerful during beta period, and they had good synergy with other aspects as well. Lucky chance doesn't mean much early on, but as the chance increases, the effect increases greatly, so it's a good to know. And there are more key legendary aspects like these. Unique items are even stronger than legendary items. However, it is said that it's difficult to obtain even one during one season. Staff of Endless Rage launches 2 additional projectiles every 3rd cast of Fireball, and this staff looks great if used with Aspect of Static Cling. Harlequin Crest is a general unique item that can be used for any class. It increases 4 ranks to all skills, reduces cooldown and damage taken. A truly unique item indeed. The Paragon Board, which appears at level 50, is a board that you can invest for stronger stats. You can invest a total of 200 points from level 50 to level 100 according to your build. The Paragon Board appears completely different depending on the class, and the direction of the character's growth can be completely different depending on the user's choice. Each board has one legendary tile except the first board. So in here, follow the path with stats you need, and you can choose your board starting from the second one. There are totally 8 boards available for Sorcerer. As you can guess from the name, Burning Instinct increases burning damage a lot. Ceaseless Conduit utilizes crackling energy, and like we mentioned earlier, crackling energy has a great potential towards endgame. Elemental Summoner is a board for conjuration skills. Enchantment Master has a great legendary tile, and it also has many survival tiles that look useful in endgame. Frigid Fate is for cold builds, which is easy to inflict vulnerability. You can have high lucky hit chance with these tiles. Icefall increases survival during hunting. Searing Hit is a board for Fireball and Meteor. Static Surge restores mana when stunning enemies. Lightning builds have a pretty high stunning chance, so this board could be useful, but at the same time, lightning builds could get enough mana from crackling energy, so we will have to see if this will be efficient in the end. In addition, each board has a glyph socket where you can insert glyphs like these. Effective glyphs are pretty huge too. So that was all about Sorcerer. We hope you find this video helpful. It covered a lot of content, so no need to remember them at once. Come again anytime and check out timestamps if you're curious about something. We will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!